Hello everyone and welcome to Designing the Future. I'm Jim Anderson, Multimedia Content Director here at engineering.com. Today I'll be your host for a talk about the evolution of enterprise-wide software solutions for manufacturing. Joining me is Vincent FREREBEAU. He's Cloud Sales Director for Dassault Systèmes. Vincent, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Vincent, the need for single solutions for manufacturing businesses, let's talk a little bit about that. Modern manufacturers, well, they all need software to control and optimize every aspect of their business, from design to production, and even front office functions like payroll, accounting, purchasing. Now, many firms we know, they use individual packages for each function. And many prefer integrated systems, that try and pull all these things together and maybe add PLM, ERP, CAD/CAM, other things. Is there one solution that is optimal for all manufacturers in all industries?
Well, it's difficult to say. What's for sure is that there is a current trend to go to a platform kind of integrated services. And by moving step by step all those individual tools to cloud, this need for platform is coming in order not to interact and integrate all of those tools one by one or one-to-one, I would say. They prefer to have a holistic view and connect them to a backbone, indeed, which can be called now a platform on cloud. And yes, I think that this need is clear. The solution is probably not yet to cover all those aspects, that's for sure. But when I look at some startups starting from scratch, they really are going in that direction of finding tools who can connect to the same platform.
So within manufacturing enterprises, I come from the industry myself, from the automotive side. Historically, the companies are often, they're like silos, like individuals. And purchasing perhaps, or accounting, they exist like a little island. And they want software solutions that are optimized for them, but they don't talk very much with the others at this point. Is there an internal communication issue? Can it be difficult to get everyone to basically agree for the same strategy?
Yeah, that's for sure. The transform. If they want to innovate, they will have to stop doing that because they will have to get all those people collaborating together on finding the way they want to innovate, because they will have to innovate on their product, on their business model, on their relationship with their consumers. And all the functions of the company will have to work together on that innovation. So for sure, and this is the idea indeed of this platform aspect. And what cloud can bring is the fact that they can integrate more easily all those people in the discussion, in the threads, in the innovation process.
We talk about innovation, and of course in manufacturing, innovation is a given if you're Airbus, for example, because it is all about making a better airplane each time. Does innovation mean the same thing to the other aspects of the business, the people in supply chain, the people doing accounts payable or human resources? Is the ERP PLM thing, is that also innovative in the same way?
It has to. It has to indeed help the innovation, support the innovation, and those systems themselves, they have to innovate in order to be able to gather more people around the product, around the company assets, because more and more you have to involve your consumers, your suppliers, your partners in your processes. So for sure, ERP and PLM systems are supporting the innovation process, but themselves they have to change in order to be capable of integrating all those people in their processes.
Vincent, many of our viewers are from the United States, and small and medium-sized enterprises, well, they're the backbone of American manufacturing. 75% of manufacturing businesses in America have fewer than 25 employees. And many of those enterprises use legacy systems or ad hoc software that's a mixture of old and new, often from multiple vendors. Now, I know a lot of them would really prefer a single integrated system, but many are afraid that the cost and complexity is too much for a smaller manufacturer. Is that true?
Well, it's legitimate. The fear is clear, but I think that most of the software companies right now are considering, by moving to cloud, that they should hide the complexity. And the trend is clearly to see software as a commonality, as a commodity for those companies. So all software companies are now proposing to SME companies the most advanced software for a subscription cost, which is including everything, and with the capacity to enrich step by step, but have only what's useful for the end user. So we are providing, and it's true for us, for our competitors, we are providing very advanced softwares that are used to build airplanes or automotives, but that can be used to produce much simpler design. And it's the cost is all in one. So there is no hidden cost. It's a subscription. You know in advance what you're going to pay. So really the fact to move to cloud is helping a lot smaller business to adopt those very rich softwares, but at a lower cost or at flexible cost, I would say, much more than lower cost, and for really the set of capabilities that each user needs.
Vincent, today in manufacturing courses, all we hear is cloud, and Industry 4.0, and also we hear about the industrial Internet of Things, and of course we're remote work now in the age of COVID-19. It means the ability to access data and control processes remotely is now, well, it's essential. It's the only way to work for many people. But cloud connecting a whole enterprise, it feels like a huge task, basically, is it? How much of an enterprise should be cloud connected? Should every aspect of the business be connected immediately, or is it something that should be rolled out step by step?
I think in the current context, indeed, you need to consider moving to the cloud, but each company has to do it at its own pace. And there's probably two aspects. You have the critical data, critical asset of your company, and you have everything related to document management and the rest of the asset of the company, and probably finding two different ways to move those data to cloud is the right approach. And then, of course, it has to be instead of a big bang, it has to be a step by step in order to ensure business continuity. So you cannot move everything at the same time to cloud and ensure the business continuity. So you have to find the right steps to move progressively to cloud. And I would say that from what we have seen, clearly the fact to move the product development to the cloud is, as of today, is critical, and it's probably one of the first steps to be done in order to ensure during the lockdown periods, to ensure the continuity in terms of innovation, in terms of creating new design, new products, new solutions within the company.
So, of course, whenever we talk about cloud, whenever we talk about any connectivity, always the issue comes up of security. I remember once visiting, in fact, an Airbus helicopter plant where laptops, special secure laptops, were used and connected by cable, and they were locked in a box at the end of the day within a defined area to try and preserve IP, and in some cases, materials that may be classified or have military purposes. The cloud feels like it's like throwing it up in the air. Is security possible at levels acceptable for high users like Airbus or the military?
There are still some challenges, for sure. I think for small and medium companies, there is no more this question of security because cloud providers offer higher standards and they are investing 10 times more than any company could invest in their own security of data. So the only question is for indeed defense or very large companies with products which are very sensitive. So for those companies, usually they split the level of security of their data, and they decide if they move some of those data to public cloud some of those data to private cloud or in-house cloud or hybrid. So they segregate the data depending on the level of security that they want to reach on each data. And this is where indeed it's interesting to see how you can connect a public cloud with a private one, because you want at the end an end user to access all the data within the company. So this is the challenge that we are facing when addressing those large customers.
I mean, so when I started in manufacturing 25 years ago, there was a form of connectivity, but it was based on a satellite channel owned by the major customers like General Motors and Ford. And there was a dish on the roof of the factory, and it was possible for the big suppliers who were very wealthy to have a dedicated communications channel with the customer back and forth. A sort of primitive version of the cloud, if you will. But it meant only the very biggest suppliers could afford this, so the smaller suppliers didn't. So there's a two-tiered structure of the very wealthy suppliers that could win big contracts and had an intimate communication system with the customer, and everyone else. Cloud seems to me that it seems roughly equivalent in connectivity between the enterprise large and small. Is it possible that small firms can embrace this technology and use it to compete more equally with their bigger competitor?
Yeah, completely. I think the cloud is changing the game and the rules of the game when it comes to a supplier relationship. We have even seen the opposite happening, where you have some suppliers investing first on cloud before it's even required by any of their customers, and then they push the large companies to subscribe as well to cloud if they wanted to work with them. Because some of those new suppliers are very innovative. They are small, but they are very innovative thanks to the fact that they are using such technology, which is always updated and always bringing new features to them. So they are very innovative. And when the Ford and the GM of the world want to work with them, they have to subscribe themselves to the cloud to work with them. So this is what I call changing the rules of the game. And I've seen very innovative small suppliers in the last few months bringing some subsystems or some parts or products really in a new way with a different business model to their customers. So I think the cloud is going to help, and we will see some of those new companies having direct relationship instead of being tier 2 suppliers.
Vincent, I think of some firms, of course, who are at the beginning of this journey. So for them, that the slate is clean, so they can implement systems from the beginning and build things logically. Some are more advanced and they have legacy systems in place. I've seen some systems that still use, COBOL applications that were written for mainframes, and they're patching them and making them work, with modern technology. But they feel they have a big investment already in existing software, so they're reluctant to make that move. Is there a difference, do you see, between firms that are heavily embedded with older systems and firms that are not so advanced in terms of which one can advance into the cloud faster?
What's for sure is that it's a change of mindset, because going to the cloud means as well that you decide to invest not on automation of your processes, but much more on the innovation regarding your product. So you focus much more on your product than on the processes or automation of some tasks that you may have done in the past. So you move budget from one pocket to another one, from investment in your IT to an investment on your product. And I think that at the end, it's CXO, it's CEO, CIO's decision to and their willingness to do this cultural change inside their company, which is to really focus much more on what their vision, on their mission, on their product, than spending time and money and investment on their IT system. And the one our customer among our customers, the one who progress really fast are the ones who have taken the decision to stop the development of their legacy system, really to focus on their product much more.
Is training a factor? I know that in many cases, in my experience, most software implementations, the time and cost of training personnel to use the new systems is not well considered. In many cases, it comes as a surprise to the end user at how much they have to prioritize training. Do they think about training enough? How important is training in getting these systems up and running?
I think training is mandatory, and it's indeed. I agree with you. It's always not well considered in the plans of adoption that all our customers are doing. It's essential to get the proper return on investment. That's reason number one. But it's as well essential because, as I said, moving to cloud, you minimize the customization, and so you have to learn something which is really out of the box, and probably you have to tweak a little bit your processes in order to fully adopt the tool that you will choose. So you need to have all your users fully onboarded and using the same capacity. So training is essential, and I would say that it's a lack. There's a lack of online training. In most of the cases, people think that everything will be as easy as getting an app on a smartphone, which is not true. So even if there's a huge effort from the software editors to simplify, make it more intuitive, there are still a large need for trainings. I agree with you.
In the future, will this technology change the kind of people that use these systems? Historically, the designer, the engineer, for example, he worked with a pencil on a table, and then he moved to CAD/CAM systems. But the function of designing the part was the same. The technology improved. But now, and many corporations, we're seeing they're hiring data analysts or they're hiring coders, people that are not actually core to the purpose of making these things. Is cloud connectivity, Industry 4, Industrial Internet of Things, are we going to create a new kind of engineer in the future, do you think, because of this?
That's for sure. I think that by bringing everybody to work on the product, by gathering much more data on the behavior of the product and on the behavior of the consumers of the product, we are going to generate new kind of jobs that probably don't exist today, and these will appear by going on. You mentioned the data analyst, but the people who are going to help to take appropriate decisions based on data, based on huge quantity of data, will be essential. And step by step, what we can see that you start to bring marketing people on the data. They are creating new assets. They have new ideas. By bringing much more the producers of the data, the analysts in terms of simulation, everybody has a new idea to change the design and enrich it and improve it, and by working all together, we can see that even the job of a designer, of an engineer, is changing. He has to take a new hat to integrate a little bit of simulation in everything he does. He has to bring a little bit of marketing to make pictures of the idea so that he can get funding to make it happen. So not only there will be new job, new profiles, but the existing one are going to change.
So when making a major change to an important structural aspect of a business, often a company, a firm will ask a special team from the software vendor or sometimes even the software maker but sometimes also a third-party consultant, a specialist that they will hire to help with that transition at this point, which also can be expensive and complex. Is there one recommended way for that small and medium-sized firm to approach this? Should they always hire the consultant? How should they deal with the people vending the software?
I think, as I said, that it's important to make this transition to cloud by analyzing the business needs at first, because the reason to go cloud should not be an IT decision or should not be a cost-driven decision. It's really with the target, the objective to break the silos within the companies, to integrate much more the ecosystem, the consumers, the partners to the decision process or to the engineering process. And given that objective, it makes sense to have at the early stages of the project a consulting, a service company helping to take the most appropriate decision, to identify the priorities among all business needs, and decide where to start and how to be successful from the early stages of this project. Because if you start small, you have quick win, then you get user adoption, you get the CEO adoption, and you can grow from there. But this work is essential at the beginning.
Is there a lower limit to the size of enterprise that can benefit from cloud connectivity and software like this? Is there a 5 people, 10 people, a certain dollar volume? How small a business can take advantage of this?
We have today many startups who are embracing our technologies, and it's not only true for Dassault Systèmes. All our competitors, they can see the same. There is on a worldwide basis, a very large trend for new companies, even with only one-person company. They do not want to take risk in investing in a software. They do not want to buy things. They don't even want to buy a laptop. They want to rent it. So the rental model, the subscription model is essential. And of course, it's easier to rent something on cloud. And they want as well to minimize the hardware costs. They prefer to buy a tablet than to buy a laptop. So all the software have to be web-based as much as possible. So really the limit in terms of small size is one person. You can start very small because it brings already a real value for you.
Vincent, final question. Dassault, a global transnational firm, big creator of some complex enterprise-wide software solutions going back decades, of course, back to the design side, the aviation industry. For a small firm that sees cloud connectivity and this advanced technology as an advantage, but doesn't know how to start, where do they begin? How can you start this process? It seems so complicated, almost difficult to know which is the first step. How should they start?
Well, I would say that they should analyze first their pains, their current business needs before choosing how to start. They have to analyze, and we help them to do that as well. Because portfolio of companies like Dassault Systèmes are huge. They could start from simulation aspect because they want to reduce the number of physical prototypes. They could start with manufacturing analysis because they want to build their product with abroad, or they could start with the design because they want to change completely the design of their product. There are many areas where they could start. So the most important is to analyze the business needs, where they can progress, where their competitors are better than themselves. And as I said, find a way internally to get everybody working together and stop those silos that you have mentioned, in order to get a common agreement on where to start. And this advices are the one that that we deliver when we make the first assessment for all our customers. Because we have today in our portfolio thousands of applications, and it's important to find the right sweet spots where we can demonstrate the value that we bring to our customers.
Vincent FREREBEAU, Dassault Systèmes, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on Designing the Future. See you again next time.